Hi there, this is Teri from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is this card box. I used the Christmas Gleaming stamp set and the coordinating Brightly Gleaming Designer Series paper. And this is the card I created it for. It measures 6 inches by 5 inches. And it's a concertina fold panel card. Now, if you're interested in seeing how to create this, I'll put a link to a separate video at the top right of the screen. But this video is for the box only, so let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for the various elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, you can take a screenshot and refer to it later. I have 2 pieces of pretty peacock cardstock here, one for the lid and one for the base. I'm going to start by scoring my lid, and I just need to score this at 1/2 inch on all sides. Then for my base, I'm going to score it at 3/4 inch on all sides. The base and the lid are created in exactly the same way. There's just one extra step that you need to do to the lid, which I'll show you a little later. So starting with the base, just pick a corner and you're going to create a tab on each corner. And you do that by cutting up the score line. And then I'm going to notch the sides of the tab. So again, I'm cutting up the score line, and then I'm going to notch each side of that tab that I've created. And you just want to do this on all 4 corners. And it doesn't matter which way your tabs face. You can have them facing the same way as I've done mine, or they can face every which way. It makes no difference to the construction of your box. So if you've cut the wrong score line, don't worry about it. You can then go ahead and fold on all your score lines and burnish the folds with your bone folder. To make the base shape, all I'm going to do is add glue to each corner tab in turn and stick it to the adjacent side section. Just going to hold that in place for a second until the glue takes. And you just want to go ahead and do this on all 4 corners. You can then add your card inside. The extra step you need to do for the lid is just to punch some part circles out of the 2 longest sides. Now this just helps you remove the lid a little easier. So I'm just measuring the halfway point against both my long sides, and then I'm going to use my 1 inch circle punch, and it can be any circle punch you use to do this, or any label punch would work. And then I'm just punching out part circles. Then I can go ahead and complete my lid. This is the Christmas Gleaming stamp set, and I'm just using one of the large ornaments and the holly and the berries. I'm going to stamp using my Stamparatus so I can double stamp if necessary. And I'm prepping my very vanilla cardstock with my embossing buddy just to remove any static. I'll be stamping with the Delicata Celestial Copper ink, and then I'm going to emboss using copper powder. I'm going to use one of the gleaming ornament punches to punch out this large ornament. The holly and the berries will have to be hand cut. I'm going to watercolour the holly and the berries. Now, if you've already watched my card video, you know about the mistake that I made with my ink pads. I used Night of Navy ink for my card and also for colouring in the berries on this box. I should have used Pretty Peacock, and I do correct this later on, but I didn't notice until I started taking my photographs. So don't use Night of Navy, use Pretty Peacock. I'm going to use the Celestial Copper ink again to colour the leaves, and I've just pressed the ink pad onto an acrylic block, and then I'm picking up the ink using my aqua painter. I've used one of the rectangle stitched framelit dies to cut out the vanilla panel for the lid. This is the 4th size down from the largest, and then I've also run it through using the tufted dynamic folder. I'm now going to colour all the dots on this panel using the copper ink. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to put the camera on when I put this little panel together, so it's all complete. I've added dimensionals to the ornament and the holly and the berries, and then just fix them onto the panel. Now, I've also layered my designer series paper onto its copper mat, and now I can position the image panel. This whole section can then be added to the lid of the box. Now, I always like to use wet glue, but you can use tape adhesive if that's what you prefer to use. And that's it. My box is now complete. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Although it would have looked better if I'd used the right colour ink. But I do correct that, and you'll see that in the photographs. So here is another look at the card, and remember there's a link to this at the top of the screen. And here's another look at my original box. So this one was in Night of Navy. Just as beautiful. Now I have made one more, and this one uses the Animal Outing stamp set, although the birds came from High Tide. And I've also used some of the Animal Expedition designer series paper. These are now retired, I'm afraid, though. The front of the card was decorated also with the Animal Outing stamp set, as was the back. And this is where you write your message. And this version of the card is much less dimensional than the previous two. I glued everything flat to the inside panels for this one, and all these images come from the papers. I just cut them out. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.